Good evening officially. We hereby welcome you to the event of Strange Days in Europe. We are here at the Frankfurt International Book Fair. Because of the circumstances, we are just online. So thank you very much for coming to our meeting. And this is an event by Strange Days. It's our first time here in the Frankfurt International Book Fair. And we start our little event as following. So, a few words about our project. Well, it's a project that is divided into two parts, as you know yourselves, of course, as you are the main participants of it. It's about 5 books that have been translated from European languages into Greek, and this is French, Irish, Spanish, Albanian, and Danish. And another 3 books that are translated into Spanish. And for this work, we are co-funded by the European Union's Creative Europe Literary Translation Program. Now, regarding our present participants, we will hopefully have Donal Ryan in a while, who is the author of Spinning Heart. We certainly have Gregory Papadoyiannis, who participates at the project as a translator and an editor as well. Elson Zguri, translator of Rudi Erebara's Epic of the Morning Sun, and Antonis Tsirikoudis. He's as an author here at the Frankfurt International Book Fair, author of When You Least Expect It. Andriana Minu, who is both as an author of Alutera, one of the 3 Greek books, and as an editor and cover artist of A Mammal's Notebook by Eric Satie. And finally, I should introduce me as well. I am Danae Bletsa, and I'm working since recently at the Strange Days books as an administration assistant, but primarily I am a musician myself. I'm a composer and a singer, and you will enjoy later a little performance that we created with a good colleague of mine, Kristin Sofroniou. So, apart from the present participants, a lot of people were not able to join us, unfortunately, because of time limitations and other personal limitations. So we will show some videos of them. This is Nánsi Αγγελή, translator, Mario Dominguez Parra, that translated 3 books, not even one, all of them into Spanish, and Sotirios Souliotis, but we will see each one of them, of course, at the time. I should start, Gregor, with Donal, right? I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to say a few things for the Spinning Heart book. Let me say something about the title. It's the Epic of Morning Stars, not Sun. I mean, the Rudi Erebara's book, because as an editor, most of the books Elson Zguri is the editor of Rudy Rebel's book, and editor also. And I have to say this. So, Spinning Heart is an extraordinary book. It was, of course, we select most of our books that have prized with the European Union's Literature Prize. And somehow we knew that the books were good books to translate, and the program gave us the opportunity to translate books that otherwise we couldn't. As Strange Days, we couldn't translate almost anything, but it would be more difficult to translate books from countries like Albania or Denmark, because it's very difficult to sell a book after all. Anyway, Spinning Heart is a very interesting book and has many similarities. The plot of Spinning Heart has a lot of similarities with our financial crisis in Greece at 2010, and this was one of the reasons to translate this book. I felt many times like I was translating a book that it was like a Greek book for many reasons, and this was one of the reasons I loved this book, and I really enjoyed, which not always happens when you translate. I was enjoying my work at last spring, where all in a difficult period. We have to stay home situation of the pandemic, but still it was really a very good experience for me, and I'm translating for 30 years now, and I can really say that it was one of the best books I have ever translated. So I have to say that I admire the writing of Donal Ryan, and as Strange Days books, we're planning to translate another book of him, which is somehow a prequel of Spinning Heart, I think in December, and we will be very happy if we really gonna make to translate it next spring. That's it from me.
And now I will play a short video about Donal Ryan's book.
Hi, my name is Donal Ryan, and I'm very happy and proud to say that Strange Days Books have produced a Greek translation of my debut novel, The Spinning Heart. The Spinning Heart is quite a personal novel for me because it's set in the aftermath of the 2008 economic crash, and it's about the effects of the crash on so-called ordinary people. But of course, most ordinary people lead in some way extraordinary lives and have extraordinary stories to tell. It's a polyphonic novel, so there are 21 voices, 21 testimonies from people who are suffering from the effects of the crash. I wrote the novel as the crash was unfolding, and all of the characters are based on people that I know and sometimes love dearly. And I walked the walk. I was in the same situation as many of the characters when I wrote the book. And I think one of the reasons I'm so happy that there's a Greek translation of the book is because I think Ireland and Greece were two of the EU countries worst affected by austerity and by the crash. And I think that Irish and Greek people have an awful lot in common. And while the book is about the recession largely and about the effects on people's lives, at its heart, it's a book about the human spirit and the human heart and the power of friendship and the power of love. And it's a short book, but it's a book that's very close to my heart. And I'm so grateful again to Gregory Papadoyiannis and to Strange Days Books for bringing The Spinning Heart to a Greek audience. Greece is a country that I love. And I think Greek people and Irish people, beyond recession and beyond all talk of hardship, are people who are very alike. I think we have the same kind of outlook on life and the same sense of fun, and we have the same grasp of the importance of family and the importance of friendship. So thanks again.
When me father comes home tired, he'd invite the neighbours outside with this chorus.
So that's mostly what we have to say about Donal Ryan's Spinning Heart. If I am allowed just to compliment that the book won the EU Prize for Literature, was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize, and won as well the Guardian First Book Award. Participants, I'm sorry. And then we can go ahead with Bjorn Rasmussen. Unfortunately, he's not here with us, but we will have a video by his translator, Sotirios Souliotis. Bjorn's book is called The Skin is the Elastic Covering That Encases the Entire Body. It also won EU Prize for Literature, and it's the first time in general that Rasmussen's literature and work is translated into Greek. And Sotirios will speak about it a little bit more. The special thing about this book is it's thematic, clearly. It's a queer autobiographical novel. We are therefore very, very, very proud to introduce it to the Greek audience, where queer literature is clearly underrepresented. And we will play a video about Bjorn's book as well. Welcoming our new participants as well. And I have to say that the mute option for participants is just for technical reasons. So as we just have the best possible audio for the main speakers. So it's a presetting. So I just wanted to explain that. Now, would you like Grigor to say something more? I have, or shall I just pass to the video of Sotiris explaining more?
Yeah, I think it's better to see the video of Sotirios Souliotis.
Excellent. Yes.
One of, let me say, it's not good to compare the translators, but he is the one who has translated more books from Nordic literature than anyone other in Greece. So he was the one that proposed from the Danish embassy to us. So he's really done a very good work, and we're planning to translate another book of Björn Rasmussen next year.
Thank you very much, Gregory. And I'm sharing now the video of Sotirios Souliotis, translator of the aforementioned book.
Sotirios Souliotis, and I'm a translator, mostly from the three Scandinavian languages, Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish. Today I'm gonna talk to you about the latest novel I have translated from Danish into Greek for the publishing house Παράξενες Μέρες, Strange Days, from Crete in Greece, which I'm very grateful that they gave me the chance to translate it. And it is this book, this novel, called in Danish Huden det elastiske hylster, der omgiver hele legemet. I know it's a little strange to hear the Danish language, but it means the skin is the elastic holster that covers the whole body. By Björn Rasmussen, the Danish writer, who got the EU, European Union Prize for Literature, for this novel. The novel is about a young man from Denmark, Björn, like the same name like the writer, who lives in a Danish provincial town with his eccentric mother and his two brothers, and he loves horses, horse riding, and his riding teacher, who is also a man, but much older than Björn and much more cynical. After lots of wandering in life, Björn, who deep inside him is longing for his lover, finds himself and gets conscious of what he is and what he wants, and at the end, love and life prevails. And at the same time, there are some side messages on the novel, such as against racism, against provincialism, against people who don't accept homosexuality, and so on and so on. But mostly is a love story and a travel through life by a young person. The way of writing of this novel is crazy, psychedelic, dreamerish, and wild, in many ways heretic, in such a way that sometimes the meaning seems to disappear, but this is not the case, because although it seems to be very, unclear in many moments of the novel, there is a structure and a meaning from the beginning to the very end. That was also the challenge for me as a translator, because Björn Rasmussen plays a lot with the Danish language, and I had to find also many equivalent word games with Greek. Some of them are successful, some of them are maybe less successful, but I'm happy that I went through this. Thank you very much.
And we're back, and now we can move forward to our third book, which is a Mammal's Notebook. Now I will not say about that so much because we have Andriana with us. I'll just play the intro video and then we can hear more about that. So as you saw in the video, of course, it's the first time that this volume of writings by Erik Satie is translated into Greek. There is a general too less of Erik Satie translated in Greek. But Adriana can say to us more about that. She participated in this as an editor, and she's also the comic Satie creator. So Adriana, please, you can take over.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy this book was translated into Greek. I came in contact with Satie as I'm a pianist myself, but I came in contact with his writings when I was in university. There was this little book with very few writings by him translated into Greek, which is now out of print for ages. So I always felt like this has to be translated into Greek, like more of his writings. And it's actually the first time that so much of his writing is translated into Greek. So I'm really happy I'm participating in this as an editor. Poppy Kotifi did the translation from French. I edited it and I made an introduction, and also while I was doing that, as it was during the lockdown here in London and we were all freaking out, I was doing research on Satie and doing the editing. So I thought, maybe a good project would be to create a comic out of his amazing quotes, which are so cynical and funny and surreal. And extremely intelligent in their, ironic sort of way. I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. He wasn't extremely successful, especially financially, while he was alive. Although he was appreciated by many significant people like Picasso or Cocteau. But his contemporaries always found him too eccentric, probably, or too weird. However, in the 60s, John Cage, the father of the avant-garde, really, rediscovered him, and this is how suddenly not suddenly, quite gradually, he started becoming more appreciated by musicians and art lovers in general. So this book contains many different kinds of his writing, published in magazines of his time, like I don't know, Le Coq by Jean Cocteau, or even Vanity Fair had published some of his articles about, many different kinds of things. There's also some of his writing for the newspaper of the church that he had founded, because he also was the leader of his own church and also the only member until today. And he was talking in a very, he assumed a hilarious persona, which was like very weirdly uptight when he was writing in this journal, because he was pretending he was the high priest, for example. So he had to be very conservative and all that, although he wasn't anything like this. Anyway, so this is more or less what the book contains. He has written almost about everything, always with intelligence and humor. So I think it's a book that would appeal not just to musicians, although he was primarily a musician, but he was, I think, mostly an intellectual. So it would appeal to anyone, really. And my other project on the side was this little comic that you mentioned before, where I started sketching his face, which he had sketched himself. So I was really copying his own sketch and putting his quotes in, corresponding sketches that I did. And it will be published also by Strange Days Books as a complementary volume, let's say, to this book, Mamon's Notebooks. Yes, I think that's all for me. If you want to show a little video about the comic book.
And I'm sure you will enjoy. And now, as a tribute to Eric Satie and his brilliance, I prepared myself for today a home video with my colleague and friend Kristin Sofroniou, who accompanied me at the piano. And this is a song by Satie. It's called La Diva de l'Empire, and it has all the usual elements that Satie's music consists of. It's humorous and sarcastic and intelligent, and I really hope you enjoyed it. You will enjoy it as much as we did.
Sur les grosses peaux grenouilles, le temps l'éclat du sourire, torre sa main de frère, des bébés donnés qui soupirent, l'île qu'elle a ciel l'hôtesse, la diva de l'empire, c'est la reine de se prendre les centimes de tous les dandys de Piccadilly. Dans un seul yes, elle est maître des danseurs, qui tous les 900 îles à ton cœur, la grandeur aura frénétique, sur la scène des germains de fleurs, sans remarquer les rires narquois des songeons liminois. Sous les grands chapeaux grenouilles, mettant l'éclat du sourire, tourner sa main de frère, des bébés étonnés qui souffrirent, l'île qu'elle aux yeux veloutés, c'est la diva de l'empire, c'est la reine dont se prennent les enclimes de tous les dandys de Piccadilly. fra freluche, tes amis, montre les fratilement, c'est à la fois très très innocent et très très excitant. Sous les grands chapeaux gris de riz, mettant l'éclat du sourire, torres à mon frère, tes bébés étonnés qui soupirent, les gueules veloutées, c'est la diva de l'empire, c'est la reine dont se prennent les ailes clés de tous les David, de Bébé.
Now we go to our fourth book, and this is Light, Love and Death. That's selected poems but by the Nobel Prize Spanish poet Vicente Aleixandre. I hope I said it fine enough for once. And we can pass now to the video. Yes, unfortunately we don't have Nánsi Αγγελή with us, but she prepared a short, very nice video talking about her translation that she would like to share.
Hello everybody, my name is Nánsi Αγγελή and I am the translator of Vicente Aleixandre's book of poems. So, I'm going to read you a few words about this project, the book that we present here today. First of all, a few words about the author. Vicente Aleixandre is a highly acclaimed Spanish poet. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1977. The exact quote of the committee when giving him the prize was for his poetic writing which illuminates man's condition, representing the great renewal of the traditions of Spanish poetry. Alongside with Federico García Lorca and Luis Cernuda, Vicente Aleixandre is the most influential Spanish poet and one of the fathers of Spanish contemporary poetry. The book that we present here today, our anthology, is the first ever translation of the work of Vicente Aleixandre in Greek, and that's a great source of pride for me. So the first big challenge of this project was to choose the poems that would be included in the book. Vicente Aleixandre's complete body of work counts more than 1,000 pages. He was a very prolific writer, partly, and I know that sounds contradictory, partly because of his illness. He was suffering from tuberculosis all his life, having to spend long periods confined to bed, so writing was really for him an escape. In fact, his poetry reflects his continuous struggle to overcome the physical boundaries. He delivered an extraordinary, imaginative and luminous poetry, and he was the only one of the poets of his generation that he didn't leave Spain during Franco's dictatorship. This anthology consists of 43 selected poems written between 1928 and 1984, embracing all the creative periods of the poet, as long as an introduction. Most of the poems are free verse. There are also poems in prose, even poems in the form of dialogue. That proves that Vicente Aleixandre's poetry is highly innovative, not only in terms of the use of words, but also in terms of structure. So, before closing this presentation, I would like to give special thanks to Strange Days Publications for this great opportunity, for this project and the great collaboration that we had. Thank you very much, and thank you all for listening. Greetings from Cordova. I am just a short ride on train from Vicente Alexander's hometown, which was Sevilla. Χαιρετισμούς σε όλους και hasta pronto.
So that was Nancy from Spain. And then we go ahead with Rudy Rebara's Epic of the Morning Star. We have Elson luckily with us. Thanks, Elson, for unmuting. Now, the book won the EU Prize for Literature. It hasn't been released yet, but it will be very, very soon. I will only play a very short introduction video to this book that we prepared, and then Elson can speak about it. So, we have Elson Zguri, the translator of the book himself. Welcome, Elson, and could you tell
Hello again, and thank you for having me here.
Yes.
I want to start first of all congratulating Strange Days Books for this whole project. It's very unique and very nice to bring into Greek audience books that nobody would translate and bring into Greece. And translating this book for me was a journey, was a way to go back to my roots and come back to the present time, because I left Albania as a very small kid. I was still able to read and write. I was communicating with my parents in my mother tongue, but I grew up in Greece, so the language I communicate better, it's Greek. And all the things that this book is describing about the regime of Enver Hoxha during the 70s, I've heard from my family and from older people, and I had a general idea. And going through this translation, I got more into the time. I felt like I am there. I felt the fear of the people, the emotions, that the pressure of the regime that had created to the society. And as it says in the introduction, and it was on the video you played, it was very easy on that time with such strict regime to be either on favor or to be against them. So there was no other choice. Either you would be fully giving yourself to them or not. Rudy's novel, it's a well-written novel. It's in dialect, not so different by the official Albanian. For me, it was a challenge to read it. The book is big, it's 600 pages. For this, I got a help from my good friend Almir Hoxha. He's a bit older than me, so he had a better understanding of the things and how they worked. So together we managed to finish it, and finally to give to the Greek audience a book from my home country, because living all my life in Greece, it was apart from some very known authors like Kadare, you hardly would find any Albanian author translated into Greek. So for me, this was also something I felt like is a duty that I have to do. I have to bring my two countries together, and yeah, it was an honor. Thank you again, Strange Days, and I hope that the people who read this book will have a deep understanding of how things were in the isolated Albanian society during 70s, and what's the impact into people until now.
As you said, for the Greek audience, mainly because it's just so little that we have from Albanian literature, and this will really, I hope it will make a difference, and it will be a start for a lot of things. So,
me too.
Thank you, Elson. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you too.
And now, as I said before, the project and the EU-funded Creative Europe project, they funded for two sides. The one was the European literature books that were about translated to Greek, and of course we have the other side, which is the 3 Greek books that were translated into Spanish. And Spain is an honorary country for the Frankfurt International Book Fair. And of course, we have, luckily, the 3 authors with us. We have Andriana Minu, Antonis Tsirikoudis, and Gregory Papadoyiannis. I'll just play the intro video for us to start. Translator of the 3 books that he did the translation into Spanish is Mario Dominguez Parra. Unfortunately, he's also not here with us, and we have a video of him speaking about all 3 books. So I'll just play that, and then it will be followed by the discussion for authors.
Greetings, my name is Mario Dominguez Parra. I am a translator from modern Greek and English into Spanish. I am the translator of 3 books which will be published by the Greek publishing house Strange Days, in Greek Παράξενες Μέρες, I have finished the translation of 2 of them so far, and I'm currently working on the 3rd book. The first one is called Ephemera by Grygoris Papadogiannis. Last year, I received the 3 book I was to translate for this publishing house, and I remember reading Ephemera in a coffee shop, laughing my head off in the process. The deceiving simplicity of both text and drawing was so appealing. Of course, when I started to translate the text, some linguistic concerns suffocated laughter a little bit, but not so much. It was fun and at the same time difficult to find equivalents in Spanish which could make a reader laugh his or her head off, as I did. I hope I managed. I realized it is not a comic book for children, and that the author deftly creates variations of the same existential fight for survival, and I mean literally existential. The second book is called Alutera by Greek writer Andriana Minu. She's a writer, but she's also a composer and an artist. And this book reminded me of what Michael Meyer, that doctor from the 16th and 17th century, did with his emblem book Atalanta Fugiens, which was a compendium of poems with comments plus emblems and pieces of music. This was what this book was what Carlos Garcia Gual called the first multimedia book. Minu has written a book of dreams in the form of short stories with sketches and soundscapes. The act of waking up and trying to record what a person has dreamt influences, I think, the whole writing, full of fantastic creatures and strange topoi situations, conversations. It was a great experience for me to translate some of them while listening to the music she composed for it. It was great. The third book, the one I'm currently translating, is called in Greek Εκεί που δεν το περιμένεις, in English Where You Least Expect It, by Antonis Tsirikoudis. It is a collection of short stories which deals with one of my main interests as a translator, which is modern Greek society and its representation in literature. I love ancient Greece, but I think modern Greece goes a little bit ahead in terms of love, due to the fact that, of course, I can translate and I can speak the language, and I lived in Athens for 2 years and a half, so some of those situations were quite familiar to me. The book contains 33 short stories and 4 engravings by Matthew Halperin. It deals with the lives of young and not so young Greek people, either in Greece or in Australia. In this case, in the second country, dealing or seeing through the experience of a Greek immigrant, among thousands of them who had to emigrate to that country after the Second World War and the Greek Civil War. That was the terrible decade of the 40s for Greece. There is one impressive short story about racism in Australia suffered by Aboriginal people. It is some sort of compendium of Greek society seen through the mirror of failure, alcohol, racism, recollections of youth, and written in a very direct style. I would like to finish, the publishing house Παράξενες Μέρες, Strange Days, because they allowed me to translate 3 books, each of which has nothing to do with the other 2. Such a challenge for me as a translator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. And now we can have a discussion between authors or one after the other. I would start with Antonis, if you don't mind, Antonis, to say a few words.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy to start first, if It's okay.
Yes, certainly.
So I'm amazed, to tell you the truth, because I didn't know what to expect when we said we're going to do this event online live. I'm seriously taken aback by your voice. Thank you for that again. And I'm very happy to be part of the whole project. Like, seriously, there's people like Sati and Ryan. I've read his book this summer, and I really liked it a lot. And I agree with Grigoris that I do see parts of the things that are happening in Greece right now in his book, but at the same time it was given in a personal way, talking about his relationship with his father. I do write about my father as well in my stories, and now I move on to my book. I was very happy to hear the translator, Antonio Dominguez Parra, because I've never seen him live before, and it was very interesting. The book, about my book. It's a compilation of 33 stories, as Antonio has just said, and what I do is that I usually write about myself and about my friends, and as I usually say, I try to give my own version of the story, merging reality with fiction, which I find it interesting. Otherwise, fiction by itself is very important for me. I was raised up reading fiction. I suppose I could be a fictional character. But at the same time, I see it as a project. I like Andriana does it in a different way, because at the same time, she's a composer, she's a musician. I don't play music, unfortunately. Well, I sing when I get drunk, but this doesn't count, does it? So what I like about the whole idea is the project idea is that you write something and then somebody makes music about it, and then somebody translates it into a different language, and then somebody like Matthew, who is next to me right now, but you can't really see him, makes a painting for the cover of the book. So this is what's interesting for me, and this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know what else to say about the book. The book was written a few years ago. As I said, I did live in a North European country at the time. The event I described on a video I made on Facebook, it's true. I was in a pub, I had a drink, the crisis had just started. I wanted to go to the bathroom. I was really looking not at all like the rest of the people in the country. I was living, let's say, very close to the Arctic Circle. So everybody is white, like you can't really see me, but I'm really dark. So, people were looking at me when I was walking in the streets, but I didn't really notice. Then I was asked, where are you from? I said, Greece. Greece made it through the, national media at the time. Everybody was corrupt. Everybody was doing this and that. We were the black sheep of Europe at the time. It was like 10, 12 years ago. So this motivated me, because I was attacked, to see when we attack people, what we don't like about other people, what is the other. Like when we talk about the other, what does that mean? Is that somebody who is just, different color to me, different way of thinking? And I think I should stop now. Thanks a lot for the time, and thanks a lot for being part of the project.
Thank you too. Thank you, Antonis. Andriana?
I'll mute myself.
So, could you say to us a few words about the Lutera after Margaret?
Danae, we can't hear you very well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I heard you now. I can talk. Okay, so as Mario said on the video, Lutera is a multidisciplinary book. It consists of dreamscapes, texts that are descriptions of actual dreams, which are complemented by sketches and music that I wrote for them, that the reader can access through QR codes, like scanning QR codes. So ideally, what my vision was when I was doing it is that someone is actually reading the book and listening to the soundscape at the same time, sort of, but not necessarily. Because it's such a multidisciplinary book, I ended up presenting it as a video art performance, for which my sister Evi Minou made some videos. It was presented at the Queer Arts, Thessaloniki Queer Arts Festival and at Sun Festival this summer. And the latest thing I did with it, which is also a bit, it takes it even further, is that I turned it into a board game, like a literary board game where with a real board and dice and pawns and things like that you can play, and you can go through the book by playing the game in reality. Yeah, I think that's all for me. I don't know what else to say about it.
Thank you, Adriana. So, Gregory, would you be happy to continue a bit about the ephemera?
Okay, I have to say a few things about the ephemera, but first I have to just inform you about these things, because I'm very happy to see it here, even in this way. Elson Zguri, which that his first novel will be released. It's not novel; it's a collection of narratings. Will be released from Strange Days Books next month, and I'm very happy about this book, which title is All Cats Are Beautiful. I have to mention it. I have to mention that Adriana's book, the last book of Andriana, The Fabulous Dead, was released in USA, not a Strange Days Book Affair anymore, last spring, and still in Strange Days Books, unfortunately, Antonis Tsirikoudis' new novel was released in this summer. The title is From Friday till Monday, and it's a good book, really a good book. We're very proud for all of them. Now, about the ephemera, I have to say that it was. I was thinking that I had to write something about these insects that live for a day. I was trying to think what is about to live just for one day, and sometimes makes me think that it was a very good situation. Anyway, I thought I could write a novel, but I couldn't. Then I thought it was easier to make a play, to write a play about this, but I couldn't. And then I thought that's it, I will make a comic. And then it took me 3 years just to find out how I would sketch it. And then that's it, the ephemera comic album. Anyway, that's it from me.
Great. I hope I'm audible now. It's supposed to work. So we are heading towards the end of our event, our online event. I would like to thank you all for being here, and we have prepared a small video for you. That was basically the end. I don't know if we would have any kind of questions we would like to
Well, I would like to thank you, first of all, Danae, for hosting the event tonight. Well, in fact, I would like to thank everyone for participating.
Yes.
And for inviting me, in fact, to participate. I don't know how we're going to do it. Grigoris, what do you think? Shall we finish it off?
No,
Shall we?
Okay, we have to thank Danae and all of you for this event. So it
Also, our
is
participants,
very nice to see you.
Vicky, thank you for listening to
Thank
us.
you, Danae, and thank you all.
Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.